So, you're ready to take your prayers to the next level. I'm going to share with you a simple technique in how you can begin the process of hearing God at a different level. If you don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Deborah. I'm the author of The Scribe Watchman and the co founder of the Writers Inkhorn International. I am author of also several other resources. So, I want to talk to you on today about the power of documenting your prayers. Documenting your prayers. And I'm going to be coming from this resource here, my listening prayer journal. In this journal, this is how you will begin the process of sharpening your ability to hear the voice of God. This guided journal will take you step by step through the process. And as you continue on a day to day basis, setting aside time for God, He will begin to speak to you. And when He speaks to you, He will speak to your inner spirit. You will just know that it is not your own voice. You will know that it's the voice of God as you develop that intimate relationship with Him. And so when you hear His voice, the most important thing you will need to do is you will need to take your pen and you will need to write it down. As you write down what He says, He will confirm it. You will begin to wait on Him and look for signs for that answer. Sometimes He'll speak to you right away. Other times, you may have to wait a minute. Like I mentioned in the other video, where you have to do what I call a pregnant pause, where you worship and you seeking God for a specific answer, and then you have to kind of put it aside and do what you normally do on your day-to-day basis, and then come back to that place of prayer. Well, in this book here, My Listening Prayer, you can write down what God is saying, and then you can go back and see if He has confirmed it. Sometimes He'll speak to you right away, as I mentioned. Other times you may have to wait. You may have to wait because the answer may not be for the moment. But as you commit to the process of listening and not just praying and spewing out what you want God to know about your situation, about your life, about what's going on in your circle or your environment, but as you share with Him what's going on with your circumstance, situation, or life, you must then take the time to hear what He has to say to you. You see, prayer is not a one-way communication method. Prayer is a two-way communication. God wants to talk to us just as much as we share our hearts with Him. And as we do so, write what He says. He told Habakkuk, write the vision, make it plain so that he who is running can read it. You see, Habakkuk had a complaint. He was concerned about what was going on in his land. Much like what's going on today, there was a lot of things going on that really troubled the prophet Habakkuk's heart. And so as a result, he said, I'm going to go to my watch. And I'm going to stand and watch and see what he has to say. See, Habakkuk didn't just complain to God. He waited for Him to respond. He waited in his watch. He waited on his ramparts, and he waited for God to speak to him. We must get in that place where we need to, one, know His voice, perceive His voice, discern that it is Him. Number two, we must wait for Him to respond. Number three, we need to write it down when He does respond. So you must understand His voice. You must discern His voice by waiting for it, and then you must write it down. You see, that is how you know that God is speaking. And when the prophetic voice is released, you have to also understand it may not happen right away. Too many times, um, individuals throw stones at people and call them false prophets because it didn't happen when they thought it was supposed to happen. You see, God has an appointed time. Sometimes those things happen right away because it's time. And then other things may take years, it may take months to happen. So until next time, I want you guys to begin to journal. If you don't pick up this resource right here, my listening prayer journal, which I'll include in the link below, I want you to just take a pen and a notebook, date it, write the time down, begin to seek God every day. This is how you sharpen your ability to hear God. And what you'll discover is after you have started positioning yourself to hear God on a day-to-day basis, you know what will happen? Eventually God will begin to speak to you even when you don't have that journal. So until next time, this is Dr. Deborah signing out. Until next week, shalom.